Hi, EDL 629. This is an introduction to Week 8, Progressive Education Administrative Progressives. And everything for this unit is due Thursday, March 6, 11:59 p.m. Except, I'm going to extend the deadline for the Unit 2 quiz to Sunday, March 19th, just because. Last week we learned about pedagogical progressives, and we talked about classroom practice and more, how progressive education is reflected in and is part of a larger progressive social movement about social change and democracy. This week we look at administrative progressives. Remember last week I introduced administrative progressives as the second strand of progressive educational thinking, with a particular interest in government and organizational expansion to address the problem of to address social problems. Administrative progressives are less interested in classroom practice, and they're more interested in how to create systems of schooling, organization, and other kind of social formats that can intervene in society in order to improve the public good. In some ways, the administrative progressives will feel familiar to us because their emphasis on organizational systems is in many ways the origin of the type of school system that we live with today, particularly their emphasis on order, on standardization, on economics, and on competition, what is commonly called social efficiency, how to efficiently organize society, social efficiency. In fact, one historian of education has famously said that in this period, the early 20th century, the battle over influencing the shape of the modern school system, administrative progressives won and pedagogical progressives lost. Administrative progressives won and pedagogical progressives lost. And administrative progressives did win in the sense of having the dominant influence over the school system. But personally, I think we tend to underestimate the social good or orientation of administrative progressives. So readings for this week. First, we read David Tyack's Centralization and the Corporate Model. It's a chapter from his terrific book, The One Best System, written in 1974, but still a real standard in revisionist history. Remember that revisionist history introduces questions of power relations, economics, and social struggle to the history of schooling. And in this book, Tyack proposes that organizational change and professionalization and class interests played a major role in the development of schooling. And in this selection from the book, he introduces the concept of the interlocking directorate, or what we in academia might today call a hegemonic corporate force. Then we read William Cutler's really terrific article about the history of school architecture. It's called Cathedral of Culture, and it examines the way in which school architecture is representative of or symbolic of different historic stages of educational theory and professionalism. Then we read a major speech by Margaret Haley, who was the early 20th century founding leader of the Chicago Teachers Federation, the first teachers union in the country and essentially the origin of the American Federation of Teachers. Haley was the first and most prominent teacher activist in the country. She was a real firebrand and an advocate for teachers' rights, particularly for elementary women teachers' rights. And she was also an advocate for democracy in school organization, for representation of teachers in school administration, and for greater numbers of women in school leadership roles. In this 1904 speech at the National Education Association, Why Teachers Organized, she makes a really powerful argument for democracy in educational organization, and in that she is speaking against administrative progressives' primary interest in order, systems, and standardization. Finally, we look at three really terrific cartoons about social efficiency. There are two discussion questions. The first one is about cartoons, and the second is to make an argument for administrative progressives. What did administrative progressives do that was good for public education? The administrative progressives are not always easy to like, and so I want to push you to think about what they did that might have been positive for education. Then, because I know things are stressful now at this time of the semester, I have extended the due date for the quiz to Sunday, March 19th. So due Sunday, March 19th, 11:59, quiz 2. Remember, this is open book. The quiz will open this on Friday morning, so you have from March 10th until March 19th to complete the quiz. Don't forget to send me your topic for your historical review essay. The assignment itself is due at the end of the semester, but you need to decide what you are reading by this week. This is much like the digital resource assignment, also due at the end of the semester. And by the way, both the digital resource assignment and the historical review assignment might be good to look at or to read or draft out over spring breaks. If you have any questions about those assignments, please let me know by email. Take care.